Hi guys, girls, non-binds, I am Leah Solners. Welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I would like to talk about the human condition. So if you've seen my video on authenticity and various self-care tips and tricks and things like that, it's very much a similar setup to that. The only difference being that I don't have any notes, so I don't actually know what's going to come out from my mouth. The joys. Yeah, I'll try not to dribble on camera, no promises. So yeah, the human condition. Why do I want to talk about this? Well, I don't think it's something that's discussed enough, if ever. And it's something that, well, if you're a human watching this, you know, you are going through the human condition. So what is the human condition, Leah? Well, it's that thing of being human. And what does it mean to be human? So if we go way back to when we are little babies in the womb, kind of in that safe space of developing and growing and just, you know, chilling. And then we come into the world. I feel like I'm doing a sex ed video. It's very much not that. Yeah, if you don't know what that is, please switch off the video. I don't know. So yeah, we come into the world as these fully perfect beings, you know. I don't think you can get much more perfect. Well, you can actually, orangutans, but you know, we're going back to the human condition. We're fully perfect beings, you know. We come in curious, we come in innocent, we just want love, we just want food and naps and play, and yeah, what a great existence that is. But it doesn't last. That is the human condition, you know. It's kind of taken from us very early on, and it's down to the fact that we're in survival mode, I guess, as soon as we are born. Because as perfect beings as we are, we aren't fully formed physically, and yeah, unless you've missed the memo, this is a physical 3D reality that we are interacting with. So yeah, we're not fully formed, so we rely on family and surroundings and things to kind of keep us alive. And yeah, so that is lesson number one for the human condition. You know, it's that survival instinct that we need other people to survive. What happens next? Well, some people are fortunate to have happy homes and happy upbringings and things like that. Some go through events and things as children that they probably shouldn't go through. So yeah, that's kind of lesson number two, I guess, of the human condition, is kind of like the family dynamic. If you're fortunate enough to have a good home life, you kind of learn what that means and what a family should look like, and what people should look like around you, which can be one trapped. And likewise, if you go through a bad childhood, or you've experienced something traumatic in your childhood, you have a one-tracked view of what the world looks like through that. Instantaneously, when we are children, we are kind of separated and we have this tunnel vision. What's next? So lesson number three is nursery and school and things like that, where we go into oftentimes an environment that we're not safe in. It's a new environment, you know, our family, the people that we've come to learn to survive on aren't there, and they're kind of ripped away, so we're forced and thrust into the world, and we have no choice but to interact with each other. But again, we're still in that kind of semi-curious state of being, you know. Children are still learning and they're curious and they believe in magic and things like that. Nursery, school and academia in general do shape a lot of how we look at the world. So in those dynamics where we meet everyone and anyone, we're meeting people from happy home lives, we're meeting people from not so happy home lives, and we're trying to find that connectivity. Off the script, guys, off the script. We're trying to find that connection thing. And really, when you're in nursery, you're kind of just happy to play and all that. And then it gets to school, and then your kind of friendships and things that you develop as children become something else, because you're kind of pitted against each other in school. Whether it's intentional or, you know, like conspiracy thing, whether it's kind of like a conditioning thing is to be determined. And I know some people believe in it, some people don't. Regardless of that, we are pitted against each other. We're compared on grades, we're compared on how we do in classes. So that would be like lesson, I don't know, I've lost count of the things, but that would be another lesson of the human condition. Then we're told, like, how well we do in school determines how well we'll do in life. So not only do people have that view that, wow, I've come into like this perfect reality, and now I'm kind of being told that, no, I shouldn't kind of go with that, I should be this and that, you know. And it very much starts early on that we are told how to think, how to feel, how to interact with the world, and how well we'll do in regards to testing and whatever else we go throughout school. Yeah, and God love us when like teenager hormones kick in. Yeah, because I think that's when we start to really question the world, you know. I look back at myself as a teenager, and I'm a bit of an oddity anyway. I've always kind of had like an old head on my shoulders. I've always kind of looked at the world very differently through circumstances that weren't pleasant. That's kind of all I'll say on that. It made me look at the world a little bit differently. And yeah, I'm an overthinker at the best of times. I'm a creative person, so I like to kind of pull apart things and see how they work. There's a bit of sweetness to that curious analytical brain. Yeah, we hit our teenage years and we start to question things, and we're kind of, this pressure, this insurmountable pressure keeps building on our shoulders to become like adults and know what we want to do in life. And I mean the adults that kind of are around us at that age, we don't see what's going on behind the scenes, you know. Those adults were going through the exact same thing that we were going through as teenagers, you know. A lot of them didn't know what they wanted to do, a lot of them weren't happy in their environment. It's just this constant like human conditioning of like, you should know what you want, you should know like when you're going to get something, you should know why you're doing something. This carousel, this kind of sick cycle carousel that we're on from the moment we're born, it seems. But yeah, without getting too heavy, because I am hopeful for the world, you know. I am hopeful for us as people, and you know, I definitely want the best for people in life. But yeah, it's this constant thing of being told that we all should know what we should be doing, and really no one knows what they're doing. You know, I've said this so many times throughout my life. You just look at people and they're just kind of rambling around, lost, and trying to find meaning, trying to force things that they kind of stepped back and took a hard look. They'd realise, you know, they're putting a square peg into a round hole. I hate that analogy, I don't know where that came from. If you've stuck with that so far, the reason behind this video is I'm a very creative person, and creativity is just it's kind of like who I am. If I'm not creating, you know, yeah, I'm a shell of a person almost. I also have PTSD. With that, I have flare-ups, I have triggers, I have so many different like symptoms and things from PTSD. Yeah, it just so happens that I'm going through a flare-up at the minute. On the surface, you know, on paper, like if we want to kind of take that societal, like cold clinical look at things, you know, on paper it looks like I'm thriving, you know. I've just moved home, I've just started a new business, my work is going well. I feel like I'm on the verge of either a breakdown or a breakthrough. So I'd like to break through before I break down. But yeah, no, I'm always optimistic, and I always try and stay as hopeful as possible, you know. That's kind of like probably one of my flaws as a person, I don't know. So that's where this kind of thinking has come about. So I'm a deep thinker on like an everyday level. I don't go a day without thinking like, what's the meaning behind this, and like what have I learned from this. So I think sometimes it does throw people when I say that I have PTSD, you know. I think there's still this kind of dramatized view on PTSD and what it is. It is very much that thing you go through like a very traumatic event and you're changed from it. But I dare say, from my experience and how I look at the world and how I kind of see people and how lost everyone seems, I dare say that we as people all have some degree of PTSD, and that is very much the human condition. I think everyone has this PTSD, and we're constantly triggered and we're constantly going through flare-ups and things like that, where we go through great moments of high and great moments of low. It's not to lessen the actual professional diagnosis of PTSD, you know. So yeah, I don't want to say regardless of what you're trying to overcome in life, you know, everyone has their own issues and different events and things that happen in life that, you know, unless someone's walked in those shoes, they couldn't possibly understand. So yeah, it's not to lessen any of that by any means, but the fact that everyone is, if you look at the world, trying to heal, trying to find themselves, trying to kind of get their lives together. For me personally, like I follow Gnosticism, you know, which is this thing that we live in a matrix style reality. If you want to delve into that, by all means do. It's very much a personal journey, Gnosticism. It's like down to personal interpretation and understanding, so I can't really go into it here. I don't really want to be honest. That's kind of my own personal spiritual beliefs. I don't think it's any coincidence by any means that everyone to some degree has this PTSD, this anxiety that they're kind of overcoming. Yeah, there'll be some brazen people out there that say, oh, there's nothing wrong with me, but there is, you know, you're a human. Humans are just flawed by nature, you know. If you were to take away your phone, take away like the internet, take away everyone that you know, if you were kind of locked in a cell, would you cope? And that's kind of the big question, because that's kind of what's happening, yeah, behind the scenes. Everyone is kind of locked in these cells and they don't realise like the whole point of this existence is to connect with each other, to reflect, to help each other, to try and find those fragmented pieces that we lost as children. You know, it's that kind of Wizard of Oz metaphor, I guess, that like the thing you were looking for was in you all along. It's your personal power. We get so caught up in the world around us. We get so caught up in how people react. Don't get me wrong, there are and have been like despicable people throughout history, throughout life, and everyone like has kind of experienced these people to some degree, some worse than others, you know. I mean, there's fields where you can go into to kind of like research like what makes a psychopath and things like that, but you know, if we strip it all back, we're all human. So in a nutshell, like in my analysis of it all, we're all searching for that magic view that we had of the world as children, as babies. So how can we find it? I suppose this is like my biggest tip. The best way to get back to that childlike version of you is creativity. I think it's that thing of transmuting thought into the physical thing, you know. I think that's the purest form of magic. It's turning a thought into an action. If you want to kind of get back into that thing of believing in magic and things like that, it's that very thing of turning a thought into something outside of ourselves. I think that's the biggest combatant to this human condition. I think that's kind of why COVID could have been divinely timed, you know. I don't want to kind of like go down that route of discussing COVID like that, but yeah, there was very much this thing needed on an evolution scale, I think, for us to all stop, try and take stock of our lives and reevaluate what brings us joy as humans, you know. And so the biggest thing from COVID was like the lack of connectivity with each other. So yeah, I guess that would be like my combatant number 2 against the human condition is try and connect with people, even if it's like over, like, I don't know why, like the thing of like a piece of gum on the street. Like, why would you connect with someone over that? Like, maybe like pointing out litter or something like that. But try and find that relatable thing with someone, even if it's small talk. You know, I hate small talk. I'd rather talk about like big issues and things like that. But it does get draining and exhausting. And I think this is why so many people don't discuss these big issues, is because, you know, we're so exhausted from being lost and trying to find ourselves and trying to fix our lives and all that thing that goes with it, that we don't have the energy to kind of talk about these issues, to not have the energy to kind of see through the haze of it all. You'd be surprised at how similar everyone is. Everyone's got issues, everyone's been through something, everyone's journey may look different, but everyone's like beginnings and like goings, I guess, is the same. So yeah, I think those are the things to kind of take into consideration when meeting people. Everyone's got their own story, so always try and be as kind and compassionate and open to listening to each other. Yeah, a lot of you will probably have switched off by now, but for you few that have kind of hung on, hoping to connect with this, I guess, hoping to find something that resonates. I hope you find it in this, and you know, I'm sending so much love to you all. Back to the dippy mindset, I guess, make love not war. So tip number 3, yeah, this is kind of the hardest one, I think. Realize your mortality. Yeah, like I just kind of said, everyone's born, everyone's going to die and things. It's that thing of valuing your life. There are so many people out there that are, I don't want to say happy to suffer in silence and things, but they don't know how else to express it, and they don't have those resources, and sometimes they don't even have the people around them, you know. The fact that there are so many people just suffering alone and in silence. I've had a couple of friends commit suicide, and their reasonings, you know, I can completely understand the mindset of void and things. You know, I have PTSD. I've been in those moments where I just, you know, I don't see the point of it all. But the point, like, there is a point to it, and it's that thing of realising your mortality. You know, we're all going to die anyway. Why not just make the most of this? Why not try and make the most of this life? And if you can't live for yourself, I think there's a saving grace, I guess, in living for other people. You know, you'd be surprised at how death can affect people. You'd be surprised at the loss, the weight of the loss that someone would feel from your death. So this is kind of like a bit of a hard one to you people out there that are contemplating suicide. Don't. If you want a bit of a morbid, like laughable theory, my spiritual belief is if you commit suicide, you've got to come back and do this all again and pick up exactly where you left off. So yeah, who wants to do that and put lifetimes into a torturous wheel? So yeah, I'm not one of those people cannot believe in toxic positivity by any means. You know, we're human. We're supposed to experience the highs, the lows, the in-betweens, the frustrations, the lust, the whatever else comes with this this existence, you know. So yeah, complete and utter tangent there. To those people that do feel alone in things, you are not by any means. Every single person on this planet is going through something. I don't think there's any point to measure like each other's grief or pain or heartbreak or whatever troubles, tribulations, trials someone is going through. Everyone is going through something to some degree. And I did acting for many years, and you know, and that still kind of do, but it's surprising at how eye-opening that is as an industry, like as a reflection to the world and how people are. So every single person has got this sort of imposter syndrome. It's that thing of like, they're doing things but they don't know how they're doing them or why they're doing them, and then they kind of feel guilty because they don't know what they're doing, and then they get into that kind of anxious state of like, oh, I might be kind of found out that I don't know what I'm doing, and then like cast out and rejected and things like that. Another lesson of the human condition is like rejection and not getting what we want. And yeah, the whole point of that is not to have a tunnel vision of life and what life should look like. You know, it's that if we really want to experience life in its fullest like glory, like bittersweet pain and happiness, like glory, it's that thing of not getting tunnel visioned and not having any particular lens of the world, you know, and be open to everything and anything. Not to be naive, you know, that's the one downfall of being a baby, especially in this type of reality, which is kind of tailored to inflict so many different lessons and things, is not to be naive to the fact that you kind of just leave yourself open to all manner of pain and other traumatic events. I mean, yeah, just being born is traumatic enough, isn't it? But yeah, the whole point of this video, hopefully, is to remind you, if you've listened to it all, like, fair play, like, well done. I'm really, like, happy you've kind of stuck around to hear me ramble and things, you know. This is like the condensed version. God love you if you watch like the, oh my god, nearly 40 minutes of me just rambling. If you are in that state of feeling alone, you're not. This is very much the human condition. It's kind of like the falsehood of the human condition as well. This kind of, I don't want to say demonic, but this kind of like negative concept that's kind of forced on us through being these human being vessels, whatever, is the fact that we think we're alone because we think we're alone. If you'd like to watch my 5 tips to boost your mood, do check it out. I hope there's something else in there that will kind of help you feel better, basically. That's all I want to do, is make people feel better, myself included. If you found that interesting, helpful, insightful, conflicting, do subscribe, guys, girls, non-binary, you know, let's connect in a non-weird, like, creepy way, you know. I don't want to meet any of you like down a dark alleyway, like dressed in dodgy anoraks. Yeah, I definitely don't. Sorry, that might be your thing, or more to you, but yeah, that's not my thing. Yeah, stay awesome, stay classy, be kind, and bye. Every single person has got this imposter syndrome. So, yeah, my voice totally cracked. Haha, boom. Yeah, complete. So cheesy. Oh my god. One day I'll get like a